Hello everyone and welcome to the 2017 Glass Blown Open. I'm your host Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy. I'm joined here with Robert McCall, and Robert, it's the final card of the day, 3 o'clock. These guys are ready to play. What's in store?
Well, weather's pretty beautiful at Olpe right now. A little bit windy, a little cool, but compared to what it usually is out here, not very windy at all. So we want to see some low scores, and some guys, we'll see if they can play aggressive and shred, or if they're just going to be really smart and just play for a solid score.
All right, again, that's Robert. I'm Terry. Let's go to Dustin with the call. We're right here at the Glass Blown Open.
All right, we are live on the tee for 2017 Glass Blown Open MPO feature card. Teeing off first from Bremen, Germany, we have Simon Lazat.
Robert, we have Simon Lazat on the tee. Hole number 1, 360 feet.
It's the back wall. He'll be safe for his look at a birdie too.
Next on the tee from Asheville, North Carolina, we have Nate Sexton.
Sexton with the trusted forehand. He's got a wider part of the green over there. It skips up, also hits the wall, as we saw with Simon Lazat's tee shot. Third to tee will be Eagle McMahon.
Colorado, we have Eagle McMahon.
Eagle's shot is really high out of his hand and needs to get down if he wants to land on the green. And it's just sailed with some wind, so he's going to be playing from the drop zone.
We got our feature group from Fort Mill, South Carolina, Ricky Kosaki.
And playing with the slight tailwind as Ricky hangs it out wide and right. Gets onto the chips. He's inbounds. We're going to move down the fairway here on hole 1 with one OB throw by Eagle McMahon. Robert, when you walk out onto this course for the first time and you come to hole number 1, you're immediately throwing to a postage-stamped island green. I've got to admit, it was a little daunting when I saw this for the first time yesterday.
Absolutely, this is one of the holes that I love out here, because you step up to hole 1 and you know whether you should be here or not. This is a very challenging tee shot. I've seen scores as big as 6 on this hole, and then I've seen drop in 2s. So it can be a great start to your round, or it can be just one that kind of takes the wind out of your sails.
And as Eagle McMahon goes deep, hits off the wall, we have coverage from the women's round earlier today. We'll be splicing that in throughout. Let's get to that now. And Eagle has a headwind putt downhill, and that's just to take the 4 here.
Yeah.
Not exactly the start he wanted. However, the damage was minimalized with that 4.
Absolutely. Simon with the very same putt, pours it in the middle of the basket. That'll be for his birdie too. Great start to your round out here.
This is the Eagle Disc Golf Course out here at Olpe Lake. We're proud to be bringing it to you for the first time here ever on a live broadcast. And as that drifted just left, Sexton's going to walk away with a par here. Wysocki inside 25 feet as well. This is for birdie. And short by Ricky Wysocki. So this hole's got a little bit of a scoring spread. A birdie, 2 pars, and a 4. I think it did its job.
Yeah, I think so as well. Very good starting hole out here.
We've got a brief walk over to hole 2. We'll be back in a moment. You're good. And of course, Simon with the birdie on hole 1. He has the honors here on hole 2. Slightly downhill, 310 feet to a hanging basket. We'll get to that in a moment. Our cameraman will show you the gorgeous picture behind us. Simon has opted to stand down and wait for the gallery as they're moving across that bridge. One little detail that I noticed yesterday is on that bridge, it seems as if they used some kind of a tacky paint or something, because knowing it could be wet, I didn't even fall.
Yeah, and I'm really proud of you for not falling in this time. I do have a brief note about hole 2. It does play 310 feet downhill. You do have to cross the road and land in the grass across the road to be in bounds. Otherwise, you go to the drop zone. And there's a berm, a very, very small ridge that's about 25 feet short of the basket. But from our angle up here on the hill, it looks as if you land on that, you're parked. You're right by the basket. As the wind is picking up, and it really honestly couldn't be any other way at the Glassbone Open, notorious for its windy conditions, if you leave yourself on that berm a little bit short, you're going to leave yourself quite a bit longer putt than you want to this elevated basket. Simon's gone with a C-line P2. And he's hit that berm but skipped right over the top of it. He's going to be pretty much valley parked right there. Easy drop in.
And Sexton with a forehand of his Glow Champion. Firebird hits off of one of the wood near the basket and gets a crazy skip way past. Third to throw with a slower disc. Looks like his harp. This is Ricky Wysocki.
Ricky's line is good out of his hand. He's asking for it to sit, and it's done just that. It hit the berm and scooted just a bit past. So a little bit of fortune for him and quite a bit of unlucky favor for Nate as he skipped off the wood near the basket. Last to tee will be Eagle McMahon, also with a P2. Eagles opted for a little bit wider hyzer that's coming in pretty short of the basket. It skipped left and it's going to leave him about circle's edge as we move to this hanging basket.
All right, let's check in with the women from earlier right here on 2. Do it. Yep. Robert, we're looking at a hanging basket here on the second hole. It is coming down from a single chain, but then it's also tethered at the bottom. So does that somewhat lose the effect of a hanging basket?
Well, yeah, it does a little bit. Oh my goodness, Nate Sexton had a great run from about 45 feet, had some branches to contend with, and just caught the left side of the basket. Like I said, very unfortunate break for him. However, we have anchored this basket out here at Eagle Disc Golf Course because when the wind is up, as it often is in Kansas, and especially out here at Olpe Lake, the basket wouldn't even settle after you studied it. I mean, the winds were so strong that it was blowing, so we wanted to take a little bit of variability out of the game.
And although there was a right to left wind, it seems as if it's still caught and pushed up on Eagle. A little surprised by that.
Eagle's putt is typically a bit nose up and a slight hyzer, so I'm not surprised to see that one lift as much. He is very thankful that the chain is on the top of the basket right now.
And Wysocki cards his first birdie of the round. You know he's still thinking about the missed putt on 1 because he is such a perfectionist, but now he's got 50% of the birdies here during the tournament.
That's right, and he'll probably be thinking about that putt for the rest of the day. He might shoot 17 down and still be upset about that putt. Nate Sexton's going to be tapping in for his 3, and then after a super park job, here's Simon for his 2.
Again, a relatively short walk over to the par 4, hole number 3. We'll be back in under a minute.
Do it! Just do it! Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow. So just do it! Make your dreams come true! Just do it! Just do it!
And Robert, we're through 2 holes here. We're moving on. Hopefully we're going to have a really good pace out here today. There's 10-minute intervals between the tees, which is very common. And we'll see if there's any backups. I have a feeling somebody's going to be throwing something in the water later.
Yeah, I would be really shocked if we didn't see at least 1 or 2 water shots today, even from our top pros. As the wind kicks up out here, there are several water carries. One of them is actually on this hole. Hole 3's, I believe it's 480 feet. You just want to pipe a straight disc through the gap. If you get far enough up there, little easy jump putt over the ravine. But if you come up a little bit short, it's a daunting upshot over an OB area. It's maybe 40 feet wide, but it's right where you'd want to land it, like a really great drive.
Looks like Simon is going exactly where you were suggesting, and he's
That's
come
perfect.
up short, and that's a great position to be in. Again, there's no really way to attack this basket because of the ravine. We'll see what Wysocki does. He's looking to basically duplicate what we just saw by Lizotte.
Absolutely. Simon is in the garden over there. Ricky's opted for what looks like a triple X and has gotten a few skips, skipped all the way across the road out of bounds. He's got probably a good angle at the basket to save his par 4, but certainly not the tee shot he was looking for.
And for the third drive in a row, we see Sexton going with the forehand. It catches a tree on the left side. He'll still be able to get up and down from there, but not quite the distance. And sitting at 1 over par is Eagle McMahon.
Eagle is on for a glow MD3, and he's getting a little too much turn. He gets a big kick out to the right. Looks as if he's kicked all the way across the fairway out of bounds.
Let's check in with the women from earlier, right here on hole 3.
Stay up. Stay up. Sexton with a turnover forehand, which was tracking toward the pin, went just past it. There was a collective holding of breath throughout the gallery.
Yeah, there's a small branch that Nate just ticked that sometimes is fine and you can fight straight through, and sometimes it'll kick you straight down to the water. But Nate's now thrown 8 shots this round. 4 of them have been Sexton Firebirds.
And Ricky Wysocki is, in fact, out of bounds. We're going to see plenty of narrowing fairways throughout this entire course. If it's not the water that's obviously out of bounds, it probably is some kind of a fence or possibly a road. This course is not for the faint at heart. This is definitely going to challenge our top players.
It's most certainly a championship-level course, and it will, as I said before, it forces you to decide if you're going to play conservatively and take your par, which you can do. I mean, you could shoot all pars if you just decided to out here, not doing anything crazy. But if you decide to get a little aggressive and are loose with a tee shot or an upshot, you can get punished really quickly. Well, he's good. Rick goes with his harp on a forehand, and yeah, he put it right underneath the stone assembly underneath the basket. That's a great scramble shot to save his 4.
And what we couldn't see from the tee, or at least myself, is that Eagle McMahon has in fact drifted OB on this left side as well. Now he is only about 8 to 10 feet OB versus Ricky, who was closer to 20, but nonetheless he's a little bit closer to the pin than Ricky.
And at best, he's scrambling for the bogey four, or for the par 4 here.
Eagle's approach with his S-line P2 is up, and it's just perfect. The basket is close enough to the ravine where you really want to land as close to the basket as possible so you don't skip too far past. But it's really scary to do, because if you come up short, you're now out of bounds and throwing 4 from this side of the ravine, and it's not really a makeable shot. After a mash drive with his, I believe it's a PD, here's Simon Lizotte.
Very gentle approach. Hits off of the embankment there. A little bit of the build-up, however, no problem for Lizotte. And Robert, there is a massive gallery out here. At least a couple hundred people right now. And it's only Thursday. These guys are in for what should be a great show, and we're glad they're out here and enjoying it live. We're glad you're out there on the internets enjoying it as well. So please go out and like and share the page. Let everyone know you're watching live disc golf right here on Smashbox TV. We've got Nate Sexton for birdie.
And after a couple of mishaps to start with his putting, Nate puts one directly in the center. That's a great birdie 3 to kind of get his round back where he wants it to be.
Again, a par 4 here by Eagle McMahon after the OB stroke. Lizotte remains perfect, 3 for 3 to get started.
Yeah, that was basically an instructional video for this hole, the way that Simon just played it. And Ricky's putting his mini on the stone assembly. I like that a lot.
That's a pro move from a world champ. We'll get a brief walk over to hole 4. We'll be back in under a minute. Welcome back to hole number 4, measuring in at 510 feet. If I do a little bit of metric conversion, that comes to over 100 meters.
You're really good at math. Wow, I am really amazed.
And under 200.
Yeah, man. Have you gone to school for like years and years to figure that out?
That's what college teaches me. We've got perfect scoring, 3 for 3. Simon Lizotte's on the tee. And at 510 feet, what is the longest thrower at the tournament trying to do?
Oh, he needs a big skip, and he's absolutely gotten it. Oh, my goodness. Simon's probably at 40 feet looking at eagle on this 510-foot par 4, hole 4. It actually plays uphill as well, so that was a mash.
And yes, folks, he does throw backhand as well. This is Nate Sexton. He's going to play the skip. He's got to get inside, and he is safe. The cable wire is, in fact, the OB line here on this hole, and that's going to come into play at some point throughout this round.
It's a scary hyzer throw, I'll tell you what. Rick's line looks really aggressive. Looks like he's trying to get way up there, looking for a skip. He gets it and misses the cable. That's probably inside circle, Rick. Oh, he actually gets a nice friendly roll forward. Ricky will be probably around 50 to 60 feet looking at eagle 2. And not to be out, eagle uncorks on a hyzer, but it's going to have to do some real work to get back in bounds. It gets a couple of skips, but is out.
And the gallery shouldn't actually move too far down because he never came back inbound, so he is more or less going to re-tee, and he's going to take a slight adjustment. You can see he's frustrated.
And that one's flipping too. That needs to get stable fast. It's on a skip angle. And he's gotten back in bounds way up there.
All right, let's see how the women did here on hole 4 earlier this morning.
Oh God. Oh, flip, thank you. Sit. Literally. That's one way to not have to make a comeback.
As we've moved up the long fairway here on hole number 4, Nate Sexton has just thrown his approach shot to within 6 feet of the pin.
Looks as if Ricky settled about 70 feet from the basket. So we might see some fireworks here. I don't know if you guys have heard of Ricky, but he makes long putts quite often.
And not able to draw any metal. He'll have to settle for the birdie 3. Sounds as if the gallery is disappointed that he did not draw metal from outside of 70 feet. Quite the expectations that have been put on Ricky throughout the years. This is Simon Lizotte from just outside Circle's Edge. And pushing Simon Lizotte to 5 under par after 4 holes.
Is that good?
That's what I call an adequate start.
That's right. Well, I was going to say Simon's drive is the longest one I've ever seen on this hole, but Eagle's second drive is actually the longest one. But his will just be for a par 4. Simon carding a ridiculous Eagle 2.
Again, a massive gallery out here patiently waiting. Ricky will be tapping in, and Rick will be in for the 3. Is this considered a par 4, in fact?
It's a par 4 on the sign. I think it should be a par 4.
There you go. We're moving on. We'll be back in a moment on hole 5.
Has this ever happened to you? No! Have you ever been playing disc golf and thrown your favorite disc in the water? Don't go poking at it with a stick. Don't hurt your feet walking on rocks to get to the water, and the water is much too cold to go in yourself. Introducing the Dynamic Discs Golden Retriever. The Golden Retriever is designed to retrieve sunken golf discs from the bottom of water hazard. It only takes a few seconds and is exceptionally easy to operate. Simply tug on the Golden Retriever's throw rope to unfold it. Then toss it beyond the golf disc and pull across to retrieve. As it skims across the bottom of the hazard, It will scoop and retain the disc. Don't get mad. Get the Dynamic Discs Golden Retriever.
Thanks, Golden Retriever. Thanks, Golden Retriever.
And welcome back as we have transitioned over here to hole number 5. And here's a little bit of the water that you talk about so much. Anytime you come out to this course, you're definitely thinking about the water carries, and this is our first opportunity.
Yeah, hole 5 plays 330 feet across the water, and in any sort of wind, this green feels really, really small. It's probably about 60 to 70 feet from front to back, so there's an adequate landing zone, but you might have seen some videos on Instagram or Facebook where there were 40-mile-an-hour winds, and Nate Sexton said this played like a 595-foot hole, and on days like that, he certainly isn't wrong.
Simon goes way high and wide and comes down, and it looks to be safe on the backside. Did not get in front of the basket at any point. You spoke earlier about Paul McBeth and Nate Sexton. Nate, I believe, said Paul couldn't even get it to the basket. I'm not sure if he was calling him out on his skill sets or what, but he said he didn't even get to the basket.
That's right. I think those two have good-natured ribbing between one another, but that was real. It's in that sort of headwind, you can't even get there. Simon went with a PD2 here and hung it out way wide just to make sure that he landed safely. Nate Sexton is opting for a forehand here. He's going to use the wind to his advantage.
And Sexton also hanging it out wide to the left here, playing the forehand in, and that checks up nicely. It sat down right where it landed, which is biggest part of the challenge out here on this hole.
Yeah, Sexton played that pretty much perfectly. Even if he got a big skip, he wasn't going to be outside, maybe 10 or 15 on the other side of the basket. But he played to the tailwind side and got the stick he was looking for.
And Wysocki out to the right, a little wider than we actually saw from Lizotte. And he's going to finish on the right. There is a relatively stiff headwind pushing in at us. And Ricky was just trying to maintain as best as he could. He finds himself right side. He'll have a crosswind putt. And Eagle McMahon looking to get into a groove here on hole 5. Certainly enough power. Is it possibly too much power?
I think it's going to be fine, but we'll find out in just a moment.
Let's check in with the women from hole number 5 earlier today. And Eagle was in fact out of bounds on his tee shot, which then
He does not pass go. He goes directly to the drop zone.
That's right, and there is not $200 at the drop zone either. Even though this hole's only 330 feet, people usually don't go OB long. They throw a wide hyzer, and Eagle's power just held through the wind and put him a little bit deep. Our competitors are going to be facing pretty tough putts here with a crosswind on this rocky green.
Now, I have a question.
Yeah.
If you landed on go, did you take 400? Is that how you played? Were those your house rules?
Nah, man. That's cheap rules. I don't like that. Oh, goodness.
And Lizotte not drawing metal. His putter has been dialed in thus far. Out here on this peninsula green, he does not draw any metal. And he'll be left with a little bit of a tester. He shouldn't have any problems. This is Wysocki for 2. I believe that's a dagger.
Yeah, that's a dagger, metaphorically and also literally. He's good. Well, Simon actually cruised a little bit. He's looking at about 25 feet, back into a little left to right crosswind, maybe a bit of headwind as well.
It's at all of 25 feet again into a light headwind. And it's caught the top of the basket, actually off the pole that has the flag. And Lizotte is going to at least 3-putt here on this green and walk away with a bogey.
And Sexton's drive that played the wind just right left him on the tailwind side of the basket, which is a smart play. He cards an easy birdie too. And Simon has still yet to par any holes out here. Eagle's in for his bogey 4. And this putt is for Simon's bogey 4 as well.
And we'll walk to another peninsula, this time for a tee shot. We're moving on. We'll be back in a moment.
I'm Ricky Wysocki, and I'm wondering who's going to be the next generation.
Somebody's going to win a car. Is it going to be you?
Hey, Simon. What? Do you know who's next? Me? No, someone else.
So just do it! Make your dreams come true!
And welcome back, everyone, here to your live coverage of the 2017 Glass Blown Open, presented by Dynamic Disc. Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guide, joined by Robert McCall, and we find ourselves out on another peninsula here, out at Olpe Lake. This time it is for a teeing surface, and looks to be a par 4.
That's right. And in today's conditions with this crosswind, it might be a reachable par 4 for some of these power throwers. But the tee it ends relatively close to the water, so if they decide to follow through, well, hopefully they don't decide to follow through too much. Nate Sexton has opted for the conservative play. Big forehand out into the field with his Excalibur. That looks like it's a long way from the basket, from the tee pad, but I would assume Nate's inside 200 right there, probably throwing a putter approach shot. Ricky Wysocki looks like he's opting for, I believe that's an enforcer. Not sure if he's going to go for the green or just play conservative to the fairway. And the answer is mash it, and if it gets there, cool, and if not, that's fine. He has absolutely crushed that, and will have an easy putter hyzer into the green. That's a big shot.
Moisaki able to play the slight left to right wind, so any of our backhand competitors, if they really want to get the move on it, they can get the underside of the disc exposed, and it could carry. Simon Lizotte with plenty of power, and he knows a thing or two about throwing for distance.
This is 100% reachable for Simon today with the wind how it is. Selfishly, as a fan of disc golf and watching awesome things, I really want him to go for it.
And he opts for a hyzer going out and around. Do you feel like that's also a little bit conservative?
Yeah, that was definitely a conservative play. If he wanted to be aggressive, he could have hung it out way left, let the wind get under the flight plate and carry it to the basket, but he's going to opt for the what should be a relatively routine birdie 3.
And Simon's teammate Eagle McMahon here. Eagle has certainly started out struggling, has found himself OB a number of times, also missed a putt or two. He's got plenty of distance, but it looks like he's lining up the same shot we just saw by Simon. And he clips a tree. It continues to move forward, taking some of the momentum. We've got a long walk. We'll be back with you in a few moments after watching the women right here at the Glass Blown Open. And welcome back as we are here in the fairway of hole number 6. As you said, a simple hyzer to the green. Oh, it catches one of the guardian trees. And Robert, one thing we have to talk about is if you told the players you could have a dreary, little bit chilly day out here that's overcast with light winds, I think they'd take it all day long.
Yeah. I mean, they're not going to ask for anything different than this. It's almost perfect as we are right now. Scoring conditions are just as good as they could be. Maybe a hair less wind. Sexton's gone with a Nate Sexton Firebird. I think he likes it because it's named after him, but I don't know. If I had my own signature disc, I'd probably throw it all the time as well.
We could make that happen here at Smashbox.
Hey, all right.
Again, the lack of wind is...
It's almost off-putting.
It is, because there was so much conversation about the wind, the 30 and 40 mile an hours that were out here during practice, and then even thinking we were going to have 10 and 15, and right now there is not even a 5 mile an hour wind.
Yeah,
and it's not like I'm protected by trees out here.
No. It's the wind is absolutely down, and you can see on this drive. I mean, even with a bad drive, you're inside 200 feet as long as you put a decent angle on it. Ricky's jump putting to the basket. Goodness. So these guys are making this par 4 look relatively easy, and honestly they should. I think this is one of the easiest par 4s to score on the course.
And speaking of scoring, earlier today, Paige Pierce came out with a scorching round. I'm not going to ruin it for you guys, as I know you're watching the coverage that's brought to you again by Central Coast, along with a collaboration of Steve Dodge and the Disc Golf Pro Tour. So I'm not going to ruin exactly the score that she's at, but let's just say she had a very, very hot round out here. It is worth noting the women played a different tee on just holes 18 and 1. So when you're looking at the scoring, keep in mind those are the 2 holes that were played from different tees. Again, Paige Pierce with a very stellar round out here as everyone taps in. We're moving on to the short and technical hole number 7.
I think on hole 9.
Hole number 7, 230 feet and 230 trees.
That's right, at least 230 trees. 1 per foot seems accurate here. There are really about 3 options. If you're a right-hand player, throw a forehand down the left cap. You can be James Conrad and throw a putter right down the middle and just park it, or do a little skip hyzer.
And no surprise, Sexton goes with a forehand Firebird out and around. However, it's a late tree. He'll still be putting from there.
And about 40 feet is what it looks like from here.
And Wysocki goes just a bit wider, and it looks like it's going to pay off for him. A little limbo.
Payoff it did, yeah.
A little limbo here on the tee by Wysocki.
Ricky went with a criminal, very overstable disc, turned it over toward the water, and it came back.
And Lizotte hits a very early tree. Carries left towards an OB line, but it looks like he's short of that. And McMahon's lining up a forehand.
Looks like he tried to play a tight turnover that I haven't quite seen and just caught an early tree. That needs to hook up fast. He's gotten a good skip. Oh, yeah. It hits the same spot as Ricky, but he hasn't won a world championship, so it didn't quite roll.
We're going to stay with you here for a moment, and we'll get to the women's coverage after we watch Simon Lizotte throw his second shot. Simon relatively early off the tee, no more than 100 feet. He's going to take his full meter in. It looks as if he was short of the OB line, and he's going to take his full meter in. I'm not sure anyone was thinking about OB on that left side.
I've never seen that there was OB over there. I mean, I'm not a good disc golfer, but that's a bad kick.
And he says no as it hits off a tree. Let's get to the women's coverage earlier today.
Hey, that was good for me. It's okay. I know, right?
almost saving the long par is Simon Lizotte. That's off the front of the basket. Nate Sexton is just a few feet inside from where Simon is. However, Sexton's going for the birdie too.
Yeah, depending on where he landed, he may have several trees in his way, but as he's a natural straddle putter, shouldn't affect him much. Oh, and Sexton's just off the top band. Really wanted that one. This is a short hole, but it's a relatively difficult two to get.
Robert, I usually refrain from getting too political here on the broadcast, but is that the wall that Donald Trump put up? Has he made Emporia great again?
Yeah, he has made Emporia great again. It's a little smaller than he had talked about, so not sure what happened there, but it is a beautiful backdrop to hole 7 here. I like it a lot.
And a few quick tap-ins, and we're moving on to hole 8. We'll be back in a moment.
I'm Ricky Wysocki, and I'm wondering who's going to be the next generation.
Somebody's gonna win a car. Is it gonna be you?
Hey, Simon. What? Do you know who's next? Me? No, someone else.
So just do it! Make your dreams come true!
Welcome back to hole number 8, measuring in at 740 feet. We have officially caught the second to last card, also known as the Champions card. There was, of course, a very healthy discussion throughout the week as to how the cards were assembled. They were, in fact, voted upon. And you got the 4 players that you see here today. And on the second card, as we said, is our Champions card, featuring the most recent champions that are not already here. So we've got Cam Todd, Paul Macbeth, Cale Laviska, all on that card. And rounding it out,
Eric McCabe.
of course, EMAC.
Yeah, that's right.
And again, our players are having a conversation about
Doesn't say anything about a square.
That's right.
Doesn't say it in here, and they seem to be pretty clear that this one's the boss.
we're all good, Ricky. Ricky's on the tee, 740 feet, hole number 8.
Ricky has launched a high hyzer that really needs to get back to the fairway. Looks as if he's landed OB, so he's going to be taking his third well back up the fairway. And that's going to make it really difficult for him to get a par 4. He's probably looking at bogey 5 at best. Eagle follows a similar line, but a better height. He's challenging the trees in the middle, but has cleared them. Gets a big flare skip out to the left. But that'll actually open a good hyzer angle to the green for him. Eagle's got a really realistic look at a birdie 3 here. Nate's opted for Star Destroyer, and he's just sawed it off a bit. He's waiting for it to sit down. It gets a it gets a nice short straight skip, so he'll be in the fairway, but a little bit longer to the basket than he'd like. Last to Simon Lazat. Simon blasts a PD2, hanging over OB the entire way. Oh my goodness, that's way down there.
We're moving on. Let's see how the women performed earlier here on 8.
This drop. Dig, 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 dig. Oh.
And Ricky has gone with a hyzer shot. Looks as if he's just laying that up into the fairway.
Yeah, he's just playing for a 5 at this point. He went over and checked the tee sign from the short pad, and that reads 490 feet. I don't think it's quite that far, but he wasn't willing to whisk. Willing to whisk. Talking is cool. Willing. Why don't you
All
talk
right.
for a minute?
I'm not sure that's what.
Willing to risk.
Willing to risk. Ricky Winsaki. How about all that? I'll spit it out for you. There you go, Robert.
Perfect.
I'm glad you were the first to screw up today.
Dang it.
I don't think anyone had a doubt it was going to be me, so I think I won.
I'm helping you out, buddy. That's jobs to do.
And Nate Sexton will be next to throw. So would it be Nexton?
Yeah.
As in Nate Sexton next to... All right.
Like
Now we're even.
I like that you just resign immediately. This is a long shot, though, with OB on the right and left side. This needs to be a very well executed shot if he's going to look at a birdie 3.
There's a gentle left to right wind that's pushing right now, and that's coming in nicely. Skips in front of the basket, just a bit short.
He's certainly inside the circle, probably 25 feet. Fantastic shot.
Certainly measuring in at one of the lengthier holes found out here at the Eagle Disc Golf Course in Olpe.
Olpe, or is this in Mexico?
I talked about that hole earlier.
That's right.
I did get a pronunciation lesson from Eric McCabe earlier in the weekend, so Olpe.
Olpe
is the correct one.
Yeah.
Great shot there by Eagle McMahon.
Yeah, he's starting to feel it. Oh my, he's birdie from 7 right now.
How often do you throw it this far in 2 shots?
I was going to say, how many shots do I get? Simon's probably put it, rough estimation, around 500, 550 feet. Pure hyzer, OB on the left and right the entire way. And, fantastic. He's thrown putter on his second here. On a longer than 700-foot hole. And that's going to be perfect. Wow.
And Wysocki somewhat quick to throw. He gets up into his standstill approach, has a nice little forehand.
That's perfect.
And comes in perfectly, according to Robert McCall.
After lots of willing and risking and rilling and whisking.
And speaking of willing its way, I think the rain has willed its way into the forefront here. It was in the forecast for 3 o'clock today. It continually was pushed off a little bit later. At one point, it was pushed as late as 6 p.m. for when the rain may arrive. And right now, we're feeling a few raindrops are coming down on us.
Yeah, I mean, it's really light right now. Shouldn't affect play at all. But if it picks up any, this is already a difficult course to manage in calm and dry conditions. And I think we'll see a lot more just management golf if it gets pretty wet out here.
Well, here's hoping to everyone stay safe and dry out here. Glad to be bringing you the coverage here at the opening round of the 2017 Glass Blown Open.
Wow. So from the short tee box, essentially, Nate Sexton gets up and down for his birdie 3. And if that, he made that look easy, but if you think it was easy, come on out to Olpe. Oh, wait, Olpe, sorry. And see if you can get up and down from that short tee. That's an incredible shot by Nate Sexton. Well done.
And Eagle is in. We have a short walk. We'll be back in a minute or less right here in Olpe Lake.
What does it mean to grow the sport? Some of us want to see it on TV. Some want to see big crowds of spectators. Maybe all of that will come true. Right now, I just want to get out and throw. I just want to watch my disc fly. Just me and the course.
Thanks, buddy.
And welcome back to hole number 9. Looks as if our card is contemplating their approach here. 365 feet, par 3, with OB both left and right.
Eagle launches a hyzer out over the OB, which actually swings out to the right, so that's a safe play. Filtering into the basket, I have to assume that's pretty close. Great angle, great speed by Eagle right there.
And taking the left side trees out of play, he goes with the backhand hyzer shot by Nate Sexton. Again, we know he loves throwing that forehand, but he said, I'm going to go out over the OB instead. And this is Simon Lizotte. Lizotte also playing the wide hyzer. And a huge skip as it's carrying to the left. He's looking for a safe sign, and it seems like the gallery's going to give him a light applause. Looks like he's safe.
Ricky's opted for the Hulk hyzer stiletto, and he's asking for that to stay. Gets a huge flare skip. We'll see if it's out of bounds.
Let's check in with the women from earlier on hole 9.
And welcome back to hole 9 out here at the Eagle Disc Golf Course at Olpe Lake. Ricky Wysocki has gotten an unfortunate skip out of bounds, so he'll have a few trees to navigate to save his par 3. Oh, and Ricky hits solid right side chains, but just splashes out the right. He'll have to settle for bogey 4. Simon from about 5 feet inside Ricky with what looks like a less obstructed stance. And Simon's putt is just a bit high. He might have had a small tree to navigate around. Looks as if it looks as if Nate Sexton will be next to putt. About 20 feet in a straddle stance. And Sexton's putt is up and in for his birdie 2. Fantastic pair of birdies on the last couple of holes for Nate. And Eagle is very parked. He'll drop in for his 2, leaving just a par for Simon. And what'll be a bogey 4 for Ricky. We're going to move over to the back 9 of this course. Thanks for watching live disc golf right here on Smashbox TV.
For me, it's time with my friends.
For me, it's a walk in the park.
For me, it's fun.
Welcome back to hole 10 here at the Eagle Disc Golf Course. It's a downhill 300-foot par 3. Nate Sexton opted for the Sexton Firebird. Threw a tighter gap on the left. Threw a great shot, but caught one of the last trees. He'll be around the circle's edge for his look at birdie 2. Eagle McMahon threw just earlier and he got a bit more turnover on his disc than he'd like. He's on the right side. Third will be Simon Wazat. Simon looks as if he's opted for an FD, I believe. He's put a great move on it and has put his disc inside the circle, maybe 15 or 20 feet away. Ricky Wysocki's forehand fell and is straight at the basket. He's asking for it to sit. It's gotten a nice straight skip and stuck. He'll be about 20 feet away. Let's take a look at some of the women's coverage from hole 10 today at Olpe Lake.
She's gotta be quiet. Come on, dude.
Nate Sexton's tee shot got a little more unfortunate break than we could tell from the tee. He's having to go back and forth between straddle stances. He's asked if he's outside the circle and gotten confirmation from his card mate, so he'll have a highly technical straddle putt with a few thorns testing his, backside.
Robert, we warned you about your language if you were going to join us on the broadcast. Let's just be very careful. I know we're not FCC regulated, but we like to keep it clean here on Smashbox.
Yeah, I'll clean it up. That's my fault.
Great putt there by Eagle McMahon. He's going to card a birdie 2 here on hole number 10. And just behind the players, we see the second to last card of the day, the 250 card. Looks like they're still on hole number 11, a long, challenging par 4. That's very daunting. These players are in no hurry as they're seeing the card in front of them. That wanted to slip and slide right out the backside of that. However, it stays in.
Yeah, Simon probably threw the purest line of the bunch, and so it's good to see that shot get rewarded with a birdie. And now for twice in the round, Ricky has placed his mini not on the ground, but rather on a tree or a stick or a stone. Doesn't matter. He puts in for his birdie too.
That's why I call him Tricky Wysocki.
Do you call him that?
You know, years ago, actually, I did. And I'm not just making that up for the broadcast.
I see.
And Sexton's in. We're going to be back. We may take an extra moment or two as there's a delay on hole number 11. Stay tuned. You're watching Live Disc Golf, the 2017 Glass Blown Open.
This is Bobby from Dynamic Disc, and I'm here to tell you about a product called Dymax. Dymax is a proprietary process we use to put the most detailed images on a disc. We can Dymax your tournament discs, or even send us your trophy discs. Send us an image and we'll Dymax it.
Can I Dymax my car?
Yeah, we can Dymax your car.
Can I Dymax my cat?
Yeah, we can Dymax your cat. Isn't he cute?
Can I Dymax my lunch?
Well, that's kind of weird, but yeah, we can Dymax your lunch. Go online today to order from our pre-made Dymax discs or send in your image so we can create your custom Dymax. Learn more at dynamicdisc.com/Dymax.
Go to Chad. Go to Chad. Just let me know if I'm in your way, guys. Welcome back, everyone. We are here on hole number 11, and I'm standing in the middle of the fairway as we're seeing our leader card. They're moving back to the tee, but you're watching Cam Todd put in a putt here on, again, another peninsula-type green. We've also caught word that the PDGA Live scoring is now officially being updated, thanks to Hannah Croak. The recently engaged Hannah Croak, that is, to Mr. Macbeth. Congratulations to them, of course.
And the newly sponsored.
And yes, also her new sponsorship with Discmania, so congrats all around. And Paul Macbeth, we believe, is at least 7 down through 10, barring what happened here on this hole. So they're going to move off of the green, and in a few moments we're going to be getting ready here to show you the tee shots. I thought I just heard Eagle McMahon say something about I could never reach this hole. So, I don't know where we're going to... direction, however, I think the other 3 competitors will. And Robert, right now we're from the tee, and we are in an OB area. Just wanted to move a little closer. Sorry about any lapse in audio signal. I know you want to hear the sweet, sultry voice of Robert McCall.
That's right.
Eagle McMahon on the tee. Robert, just how challenging is this hole?
Man, if you get a good tee shot, you can put yourself in a really good position for an easy up and down. Looks like Eagle's throwing a great tee shot. If it's not too long, he'll have just a simple spike hyzer to the peninsula green. It is worth noting when the wind is up, a lot of times it's coming out right to left on your second shot, and there's some kind of bushy trees between where most of the drives land and the green, and so you have to throw a spike hyzer and expose the flight plate to the wind to land on that peninsula. It's a very, very difficult technical second shot.
And as we watch Simon Lizat's disc pass by, I believe his disc is in fact creating more wind than what's out here already. I think Emporia has just set a record for the least amount of wind ever during a disc golf tournament right now.
Yeah, I mean, to quote Flight of the Conchords, conditions are perfect. Ricky's forehand is heading toward the out-of-bounds area. We're going to wait for a signal here. Looks like he's gotten some applause, and some applause from people up the fairway, so he must have landed safe. And that will actually provide him a really open look at the green.
Nate Sexton opting to go straight up the middle, also with a forehand.
And he's opted for an Excalibur, so we'll see a nice little flare skip here. And he should probably have a lower, easier hyzer at the green.
Let's see how the women performed earlier on hole 11.
Fucking freak out, dude.
we go.
Waisaki's able to go out and over the trees you spoke of earlier. Checks up nicely, gets a little roll, just a few feet, no real damage there.
Yeah, most regular people would opt for the kind of straight, slight hyzer shot, but Ricky is just like, I can fight the wind with this forehand, so looks like he's put it about 10 feet deep on this par 4 here. That's a great shot.
We currently see Simon Lizotte and Nate Sexton tied at 4 under par. Ricky Wysocki at 1 down, and Eagle McMahon has been on a little bit of a roller coaster. He's 1 under.
Nate Sexton's taking the same line as Ricky, coming on a little left of the basket, and is getting a roll toward the water, but I believe his disc sat down, so he'll be looking at 25 or so feet for his birdie 3.
We're going to move over. Both Simon Lizotte and Eagle McMahon will be yet to throw shortly after their shots. We'll move on to this Peninsula Green, and we'll be able to give you the conclusion of hole 11 from the women's card. We have to again thank Central Coast Disc Golf for the collaboration there today, along with Steve Dodge and the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Thank all of you so much for your efforts to bring you the best coverage here at the Glass Blown Open.
Simon's hyzer is right at the basket and just skips 10 feet past. Simon and Eagle are standing on grass that rarely gets walked out here at Olpe Lake because, well, they threw it way farther than everybody else.
Eagles is out and up and deep. Let's get back to the women. We'll be back with you in a moment from the green.
Come on, hyzer.
And up and rim of the basket, just sneaking it in there. That's going to be a 3.
Yeah, nice little mountain climber there for Nate after his upshot came up just a little short and got a little unfortunate roll toward the rocks, but no mind for Nate Sexton as he just pours it in for 3. Here's Eagle McMahon, about 20 feet for his birdie 3.
I'm still shocked about the mountain reference, again, within Emporia. That is high and right. Just a little bit of a misfire there.
Yeah, you could tell it was right out of his hand. It might have gotten lucky to catch, but caught just a few outside chains and stayed out the right side of the basket. Ricky decides that he wants to hit a lot more chains, so he puts his in for birdie 3.
Lizotte in. We have 3 birdies and ultimately a par by the struggling McMahon. We're through 11 holes, a little bit of a walk and a backup on 12. We'll be back in a moment right here at the Glass Blown Open.
Join the excitement at pdga.com.
sense. All right, so Chad, you're going to get the... Welcome back. We are here on hole number 12, and we found the 250 card is being held up by the spotter. I believe he's sitting atop the mountain you mentioned earlier. Is that what this is?
This is the mountain I was referring to, yeah, the highest elevation in Emporia. It is from the tee about 15 feet above the tee, so yes, very mountain-like.
Which means about 13 feet above sea level.
Yeah, that's correct.
And Paul Macbeth, who is currently in the lead, he is on hole number 12.
Oh yeah, that's a fantastic shot by Paul. He's going to crest the huge mountain in front of us, and that's going to put him in a really good position to attack the green for an opportunity at Eagle 3. Once we get up to the green, you'll see how difficult of a shot that is and how small of a landing area you have for your second shot to land in.
And teeing off, playing the Flex Annie shot is Cameron Tucker, 2001 world champion. Also, you're the last one, Open champion from 2016. This is the champion's card. Kale Leviska of Prodigy Disc now on the tee.
Kale looks like he's taking a D2 for this shot, and he's just getting all the distance he can out of it. Macbeth was pure hyzer. Kale's is straight and maybe a little farther than Macbeth. That was a big shot. And
speaking of big shots,
one of my favorite guys in the world, Eric McCabe.
Emac playing to that left side. When we come back in a few moments, we can talk a little bit about the strategy of this hole and the par on the previous hole. Stay tuned. We're going to be back in a few moments after a word from our sponsors. You're watching Live Disc Golf right here in Olpe Lake.
Hi, everyone. I'm Paul Macbeth. You're watching Live Disc Golf on Smashbox TV.
Disc golf is a sport growing in popularity all over the United States and around the world. Dynamic Discs is the premier disc golf manufacturer, distributor, and retailer for enthusiasts, beginners, experts, and hardcore players. Along with hosting some of the best professional disc golf association tournaments in the country, Dynamic Discs also takes pride in offering the best customer service in the disc golf industry. At Dynamic Discs, customer service isn't just a department, it's the way we do business. Our entire staff at Dynamic Discs is knowledgeable and passionate about growing the sport and providing you with an exceptional experience. We know how important it is to get the products that you order in your hands as quickly as possible. Orders are shipped immediately from our own inventory and arrive at your doorstep in 2 to 3 days to almost any location around the United States. Check us out at dynamicdiscs.com.
All you check. And welcome back to our Smashbox TV bonus coverage. Paul Macbeth, your 4-time world champion here on hole number 12, throwing his approach shot to this very protected green.
And splash down for Paul Macbeth. He's come up short of the water protected green here. Paul Macbeth beside himself that he had made the mistake he did. And Cale Leviska, after watching Paul Macbeth, Cale goes for a layup.
It's honestly a really smart play here. If this is, we're on hole 12 here, a par 5, and if you're not committed to going for the green, layup is absolutely the play. Cale will have a relatively easy putter shot for an up and down.
And we'll do our best here. A little bit of congestion, and we're not only trying to follow this 250 card as they are moving down the fairway on hole number 12, but then once they are clear, we will be able to bring you back to the action of our featured card. Again, a few hundred people in the fairway at the moment. And I think at some point we'll have both groups on this hole at the same time.
Yeah, that's likely to happen out here. This is the hole most likely to have a backup just because of how the green plays. As Eric McCabe throws his upshot, tracking toward the basket nicely, a little deep actually, but looks as if it's settled safe. He's got a nice green flag, so he'll have a putt for birdie 4. As I was eating lunch just before this at the Olpe Chicken House, by the way, or pardon me, Olpe. I totally forgot. It's a Mexican chicken restaurant. But as I was eating there, Alex Geisinger was sitting over at a table near me, and he said he did in fact get the Eagle 3 on this hole. Oh my goodness! It looks like that was Cale Leviska who splashed out for what would have been an Eagle 3. Oh, that was Cam Todd. Pardon me, that was Cam Todd.
Cam Todd,
wow,
going from way downtown. It looked to be dead center, maybe even hit the pole and spit back out.
I think that's exactly what happened, just a little too fast. We ought to tell Cam to just take a little off of those 200-foot throw-in shots.
And next to approach is Cale Leviska. And getting a little kiss off the tree.
That's a friendly tree right there.
Well, he's from Minnesota, you know, and they're as friendly as we are in Wisconsin. So great shot by.
But as I was eating there, Alex Geisinger was sitting over at a table near me, and he said he did in fact get the Eagle 3 on this hole. Oh my goodness!
The 250 card, I think, will be in good position. And the 3 o'clock card, or featured card, as I'm trying to keep an eye on both of them at the same time here. Knock on some wood. It looks like we are still clear of any raindrops. We felt a few earlier, but right now, just cloudy and overcast and very light winds under 5 miles an hour.
That's exactly right, and that's the reason that I've brought my umbrella with today. I knew that if I left it in the car, it would 100% rain, so it's out here with me, and I'd just like to tell the competitors, you're welcome for keeping the rain away. If one of our power throwers, like Simon Lizotte, who's on the tee, gets really aggressive, we might see the disc just fly right over the top of our camera here. He's put a really good move on it, but it's turned over. I think that's headed out of bounds. Oh man, that's a bad miss. This fairway is 120 feet wide, and a really good opportunity for our power throwers to attack and get a look at an Eagle 3, but pretty easy birdie 4. And Simon just turned his over too much.
He will get the advantage of moving at least a few hundred feet down the fairway. However, that is a very uncharacteristic mistake here by Simon Lizotte. He had so much room to work with. This is Wysocki, and it's very tough to track the disc. I've got to say, I'm watching myself, not even through the camera lens, and seeing that Wysocki has come up just short of where we're standing. What's that purple disc he's thrown?
That's an Enforcer, and it's got a couple of Eric McCabe faces on it. Those are the very, very overstable ones.
Well, as I would expect. Anything with Eric McCabe's face on it,
and a mustache,
super overstable.
A mustachioed, I think that's the word, Eric McCabe face. Very overstable. And Nate Sexton has gone with another destroyer. He's headed left, but left is just fine here. I doubt he'll be trying to attack the green for 3, but he's in a perfectly fine position to get a birdie 4. This hole is unique in that it's a relatively easy 4, but a difficult 3. Really easy to get a 5 if you go in the water. And Eagle has just mashed a drive that's going to land at our feet. Oh, hello.
And there it is.
Hey guys.
Hey everyone, Eagle's right here.
Yeah, that's a PD2, and he's way up the fairway. I don't know about you. I'd be willing to take a bet that he goes for the green here.
I'm guessing he will. And speaking of the green, I'm guessing there is a conversation taking place right now as Paul McBeth had come in and hit the rocks.
Oh, I don't think it's a conversation. I think they're trying to get his disc out of the water.
Okay, I was going to say there may be a conversation as to if Paul had, in fact, cleared the OB. Now, do you have to land? Okay, you know the rule.
Yes.
Good, somebody does.
Well, I heard it earlier today because Paige Bjerkes threw one in the water and played where she went out of bounds. And the rule is if you go into the water, you go to the drop zone.
You must go to the drop zone.
That's exactly right.
All right, we're going to try and get into position here. Yeah, we're really in an awkward standing pattern here at the moment. We're going to see what we can do for you. And by the way, of course, we invite you to go check out pdgalive.com. PDGA Live holding all of the scores, the live scoring that's taking place. Simon Lizotte is confirming you get a 2-meter relief from a barbed wire fence. Many of you know, per PDGA rules, anytime you're OB, you get 1 meter relief from the OB area. However, when there is a situation of barbed wire, you usually hear anywhere between 1.5 and 2 meters, and we've confirmed that it is in fact 2 meters. Simon will be getting ready to throw. I'll be interested to see if he decides to be very aggressive here, possibly to go for the pin. I can't imagine that he'll be doing that from here. But Simon's been known to put on a show. Sometimes he's even said he prefers to go for big shots to wow the crowd more than he's concerned about his scores. So we'll see what he's going to do here. It's no more than 5 miles an hour. Simon with a caddy here this weekend. And Robert, a very big mistake here is now I do feel a few raindrops. Another red flag by Simon Lizotte's drive.
Yeah, that was actually a really unfortunate hit. He threw it on a spike angle, and instead of spiking, it just got kind of a little slide forward. And once you're on the downslope there, if you do get that slide forward, it's very easy to go in the water. And that's exactly what has happened to Simon. So he'll be advancing to the drop zone, where he'll be throwing 5. The drop zone is very manageable, so I expect Simon to get a bogey 6 here, but I think that when he walked up to this hole, he was expecting 3 or even just a 4 at the worst.
And Nate Sexton going with the play out into the large part of the fairway here. So he'll have a relatively easy pitch over to the green. And playing this, as you said, this is an opportunity for the Eagle 3 if you're very aggressive and you execute. However, there's no shame in walking away with a 4 here.
Oh, absolutely. I think the majority of the field will take 4s here because very few people will be aggressive enough to go for the green. The ones that do, as we saw Paul McBeth, I mean, arguably the best thrower in the world, go for the green and hit the rocks and come up short. So I think we'll see a lot of 4s, maybe a couple of 3s, a few 5s, and then, well, some unfortunate souls a little higher than that. I am really interested in seeing if Ricky goes for it here. He's got a felon in his hand. Nope, he switched to a harp, so he's going to be laying up. He's going to do it with a forehand angle, so this slope is a little bit more conducive to catching a forehand, not getting that little slide toward the water. That's smart golf.
Great play by Wysocki. Hoping we do not have to see any portion of the Ricky Raincoat Wysocki. Very light drizzle coming down as Eagle McMahon's throwing next.
I'm pretty sure that's an FD3 that he just threw, so if you're not very familiar with this mania, it's like a Firebird. Oh my goodness, and he has put it right next to the pin, about 15 feet for Eagle 3. Beautifully executed hole for Eagle McMahon.
And the rain is starting to come down. I know we've been talking about it, whether you call it a jinx from a few holes ago or not. We are starting to feel the rain. You had put along an insurance policy, but it looks like you just met the deductible?
Yeah. I also, like a fool, just said, "You're welcome" to the players, so now I apologize to the players. And also to everyone.
Sexton's Firebird is on the left side. He's got to stay clear of the low-hanging branches. And back behind the basket, he'll have a putt from there.
Yeah, that's a great shot by Nate. This is a sort of hole that a guy like Nate Sexton, who has just a really good golf mentality and a good forehand, can get an easy four, where other people are going to take much larger scores.
Wysocki asking for it to sit. It gets a large skip. However, he's less than 20 feet past the pin. Shouldn't be a problem from there.
Yeah, the same could be said, just like I said for Nate, for Ricky there. Just a textbook way to play this hole. And Simon is going to find out he needs to go to the drop zone. He's probably just looking for his disc right now. You go drop zone, Simon.
And Simon not able to necessarily spot his lie. However, we are going to move over to the drop zone where a number of our gallery members have congregated. A massive amount of effort put into designing and installing this course out here at Olpe Lake, as we are here on the drop zone. I'm not sure this many of us should be on this bridge at the same time.
Yeah, I'm a little bit scared. The other day I had my dog Walter out here, and he was walking with us along the bridge and thought he could get a little too cocky, and, well, he got knocked into the water by somebody else. So let's hope that doesn't happen to our competitors here. But the guy who's really putting in a ton of work here is Mike Smith. He does all the maintenance out here, and wow, I mean, he's always working hard. Took the last couple of days off of work just to maintain this course. And Simon's upshot is parked, but he says you're so weak as he comes up a little short. I assume he had wanted to throw that in to save a par 5.
Again, we are moving down onto this water protected green, which is not that wide. A little bit of a peninsula green, almost a reverse peninsula of sorts. Easy cleanup for Nate Sexton. Raincoat Ricky has emerged. Easy par correction, birdie 4. And taking very little time to card the Eagle 3 is Eagle McMahon. Simon Lizotte taps in. We'll We'll be back in a few moments after a word from our sponsors. Stay tuned. You're watching the Glass Blown Open.
Are you new to disc golf? Or maybe you've been playing for a while and just saw some pro smash it with a Dynamic Discs Defender. But you're just not sure that disc is right for you. If any of this describes you, then the Dynamic Discs Buyback Program is for you. Just go to any of our buyback retailers and purchase a disc from Dynamic Discs, Latitude 64, or Westside Discs. Try out that disc for 14 days, and if you're not completely satisfied with that disc, take it back and get it replaced with whatever disc you want in the store of any brand. Go to dynamicdiscs.com/retail to find a buyback retailer near you and get out there and play some disc golf.
Okay. Gotcha. Are they off? Simon?
And welcome back to hole number 13. We just watched Eagle McMahon card the very easy Eagle 3 for him. Not too many people can say that. A couple of birdies on the card as well. Now we move over to a 215-foot hole 13. This is a must get, and you must stay out of the water. There's a little bit of chatter in the background as the gallery is behind us. Eagle McMahon's shot comes in very nicely, just a bit deep.
Yeah, must stay out of the water is more accurate here. Must get is maybe questionable as the water kind of horseshoes around the green, and any shot in the water goes to the drop zone. So it's an automatic 4.
Ricky goes with a backhand skip. He's playing it toward, and that is in fact OB by Ricky Wysocki.
Looks like Ricky was trying to play the safe right side, and just if he gets a nice skip forward, great, but just came out a bit low and left. And this is a line I haven't seen yet. Nate Sexton goes with a forehand over the water, spikes in, gets some good applause. Looks like he'll be about 20 or 25 feet for his birdie.
Playing a very, very wide putter shot is Simon, playing for a skip that's coming in, and he's safe. Let's see how the women did earlier on 13.
Oh, that was risky. Oh, wow. Come on. Woo. Almost got her. Oh, wow. Just sit. That was a weird wind gust, wasn't it?
Oh man, and with a virtually unrunnable putt, Ricky's just like, nah, I'm gonna go ahead and run it. Comes up just a bit short, so he'll have to settle for bogey 4.
and giving it a loft to get up and over so he does not carry toward the pin, or correction, toward the OB directly behind the pin. We see a gentle loft putt there by Eagle McMahon.
And with out of bounds about 10 feet behind the basket, Nate Sexton just drops a death putt in the basket. It's a very daunting putt, but he makes it look easy for his birdie too.
And Simon trying to erase a little of the hurt felt on the previous hole. We'll see Wysocki tap in for the 4. Eagle will tap in for 3. We're glad you're with us. We'll be back in a few moments as we move on to hole number 14.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, this is Bobby Cool Daddy Slick Breeze.
And I'm Eric McCabe.
And we want to invite you to check out our podcast, The Disc Golf Answer Man, where myself and Eric McCabe, 2010 Pro World Champion, answers your disc golf questions. Any questions on discs to choose, life on the road.
Don't forget about the Ralph updates.
And even Ralph updates. So check us out. We have segments where we talk about health and wellness of disc golf, mind, body, disc, and he talks about the mental part of the game. So check us out on iTunes or Stitcher, or just look us up at discgolfanswerman.com.
And welcome back here to hole number 14. We're seeing our 250 card. They're moving down the fairway. And we're also waiting on our 3 o'clock feature card. They're not quite ready to go and clear, so maybe we'll give you a little extra action. Robert, we're standing at the 500-foot marker where you and I are at the moment. Our cameraman's standing at about the 450-foot marker. And it plays to a pinch point. This is exactly where they want to land?
Yeah, I mean, basically in this corner is a really good spot to be. Most open players who have 400, 450-foot distance are just going to play a hyzer out to about that distance marker and then throw their hyzer into the basket. But with throwers like these guys, Pallets has a backboard behind the basket, but if you slip through one of the cracks, it is out of bounds. And then there's out of bounds painted to the left of the basket, I don't know, about 12 feet or so. I mean, it's a very, very tight green, so the better the tee shot, the easier the upshot here, and the upshot is vitally important. Looks as if Simon Lizotte is on the tee first, and I have a feeling the reason he's waiting is he's about to blast one. So I have no problem waiting to see where this ends up.
And still a very sizable gallery out here. They have the, we'll say, for the fortunate nature to be able to walk back and forth between the first and second cards, or should I say the 2:50 and the 3 p.m. cards. Watching your 4 highest vote getters from online to be featured here on the featured card, and then also your 4 previous champions here at the Glass Blown Open. And throwing it approximately 400 feet with a slight downhill slant. Nate Sexton was first on the tee. And Simon Lizotte going to opt for a big hyzer. This is a relatively safe shot. And he's going to be about the same distance as Sexton.
Yeah, he'll have a shot that looks almost just like that into the green. About equidistant. I would really like to see if Eagle wants to get aggressive here. Nope, just a big hyzer. These lazy guys and their 400-foot hyzers, just making the game look easy.
What I gotta say is, they could not ask for better scoring conditions, and maybe, as you've said, they're just deciding to play it safe, and plenty of solid pars out here. But these are the best scoring conditions you could possibly ask for out at this course, and they're not overly aggressive.
A little bit of a bad skip by Ricky. He's going to have a more difficult hyzer than the others.
Let's see how the women performed earlier here on hole 14.
Oh, get new.
Nate Sexton first to throw. He's going with a backhand. We feel a light wind at our back at the moment. That's a beautiful shot there by Sexton.
Yeah, that's perfect. The tree that he hit is about 25 feet or so, maybe 30 from the basket. He got just around it, his champ Thunderbird right there. So played the wind very well, which was a slight right to left wind for him. Ricky's disc skipped a little bit more to the left than he'd like, so he's going to have to throw a more extreme angle to reach the screen. The distance really isn't the problem, it's just the initial angle. Looks as if he's taking the same stiletto that he teed off with.
And Ricky's playing it out wide as well, and that's
coming in perfectly, honestly.
It really is. It looks like it caught a tree on the right side.
Tough to tell, but that seems to be a great shot. Next throw will be Simon Lizotte.
I'm pretty sure that's Simon's FD3. He's sawed it off left, and the OB is very tight over there. He's waiting on a signal, but really isn't getting much help from anyone. I don't think they're close enough to really see if he's safe. So it'll be mystery time for Simon as we walk up the fairway. Last to throw will be Eagle McMahon, and he's throwing the same FD3 he threw for his approach on 12, where he bagged the Eagle 3. And his angle in line is better. As long as it doesn't get a big skip, it should be a great shot. Oh, just kidding. It got a huge skip. That's unfortunate.
All right, we'll be back in a few moments as we move down on hole 14. And after a relatively short approach shot, Simon has misfired, and then he says, "No way." A little animated with his effort there.
Yeah, that was a circle's edge putt with just a tree between him and the basket. Caught a little leaf and sent it left side. The tree that we thought Nate Sexton hit is actually closer than he actually ended up closer than it looked from our approach. So he's parked for his birdie 3. This is Ricky Wysocki with an obstructed stance.
And with that step out putt, we used to see it so much more frequently. Ricky has somewhat adjusted his putting stance in the last couple of years. However, he used to somewhat fall left when he putt, and that was a little reminiscent of Ricky old, pre world champ.
Ricky of yore. That's right. That was actually a much more difficult putt than it looked. Yes, obstructed stance, but the out of bounds is no more than 8 feet behind the basket from Ricky.
And grabbing some of those last chains is Eagle McMahon. He'll take the birdie 3.
Nope, that's a par 4. He skipped out of bounds.
Just kidding about that. He did skip out of bounds. I wish he wouldn't have. Birdie 3s, though, for Nate Sexton.
That's textbook. I mean, played it perfectly. Hyzer, short putt.
Robert, we're through 14 holes, and I have not mixed up Eagle and Simon. I'm just saying, I'm killing it.
I'm proud of you.
All right, we're moving on. Hole 15, we'll be back in a moment.
Hi, I'm Hannah Leatherman, and you're watching live disc golf on Smashbox TV.
And welcome back. We are, in fact, here on hole number 15, measuring in over 500 feet. Looks to be 540 feet. Nate Sexton, along with Eagle McMahon, are assessing the game plan here for this 15th hole. I'm also joined by our PDGA Media Manager in Marty Gregoire, also known as Media Marty. What are we seeing out here today during this opening round of the second stop on the PDGA National Tour?
I think, first of all, I was talking to a few different people, and this has got to be the biggest first day gallery I've ever seen. They're throwing now.
Sexton launches a very good-looking, gentle hyzer. And Marty, you were saying this is one of the largest galleries that you've seen on the first day.
Yeah, I mean, we have, it looks like 100 people here, and they've split off, and there's another 100 following Paul's group, so crazy. Can only imagine what the final day will be like if this is opening day in 50-degree weather.
And flirting with that OB on the right side. Oh my gosh, in breaking news, Ricky Wysocki has just busted out a smile. What is going on here in Emporia?
I don't know, I think like a black hole just opened somewhere in the solar system.
And Simon decides he's going big as he winds up. And, of course, all in jest with Ricky Wysocki. He is always very serious on the course. Some have questioned if he even has fun out here, and we know that he does, as Simon also gives a high five to his caddy. Eagle McMahon does not want to be outdone. He is lining up for a huge drive as well.
Yeah, that looks pretty huge, but it is fading left pretty quick. I can't really see it from here.
All right, the gallery approves. We'll catch up with you more in the fairway with Media Marty. Let's check.
Be nice. Thank you. Totally meant to hit that gap. Oh, hider, baby. Yes. Whew. Really? Oh, give it up in the air. It's awesome. Yes, bud.
And welcome back again. Moving down the fairway here on hole 15. And Media Marty, what are some of the activities that are taking place here during this opening round? Of course, there's play going on, but what are some of the other things people can experience here at this event?
Well, at the actual event, there seems to be endless activities. There's like 6 pages in the caddy book dedicated to it. So I know tonight they have free mechanical bull riding at one of the bars downtown.
Yeah, they do.
I think I've heard there's a big wager between Doug Bierkus and Haley to see who can last the longest. Either one, I don't know. I think my money's on Bierkus for some reason. Seems like he's probably out there practicing.
He's like a bull rider.
Yeah, Doug is definitely a bull rider. Of course, we're talking about Doug Bierkus, your tournament director here for the Glass Blown Open, along with the tremendous staff and effort by literally hundreds of people that Dynamic Discs has helped assemble, along with the PDGA. When we're here at the PDGA National Tour and some of our larger PDGA events, we usually have the assistance of both Media Marty as well as Michael Downs. It's been a while since you've been out of the house and joined us here on the course. How does it feel?
It's great, man. I'm always glad to be back. it's early in the year. It's not crazy yet, so everything's fresh. It's interesting to see, what if anyone's style has changed, or who's coming out and playing riskier than they would have last year, or playing safer than they did last year, maybe learning from some mistakes.
Well, of course, go out and check out pdgalive.com. We can give you all of your up-to-date scoring and also articles and information found on the PDGA website. And a groan in the crowd. Almost putting it down is Simon Lazat. Thank you, Marty. We look forward to hopefully some weather that holds off throughout the weekend. And let's hope your job remains relatively intact and not too difficult.
Yeah, bring it on. Compared to last year, this is paradise. Doug promised fantastic weather, is what he said during the players' meeting. And I think relatively, compared to last year, it is. So I'll see you guys around.
All right, again, Media Marty. And now we are feeling the most constant rain we have felt all day. As we see Eagle McMahon throw in, I'd like to thank Media Marty and the PDGA for everything they're doing here at this national tour event.
Absolutely. I think we're going to see a whole bunch of threes here. Eagle's drive was so far up that he threw a really, really bad upshot to his standards and was still 20 feet. So lots of threes and one almost eagle.
We're moving on to hole 16. We'll be back in a moment.
Yeah, I'm Ricky Wysocki, and I'm wondering who's going to be the next generation.
Somebody's gonna win a car. Is it gonna be you?
Hey, Simon. What? Do you know who's next? Me? No, someone else.
So just do it! Make your dreams come true!
So you've just walked into a disc golf store. Look at all that sweet plastic. So many new discs to try. But you have your trusty compadres. Why would you want to try something new? What if you don't like this new disc? Rest easy. When shopping at any of our buyback retailers, if you are not completely satisfied with a disc from Dynamic Discs, Latitude 64, or Westside Discs, bring it back within 14 days with proof of purchase and we will replace it with whatever disc you want. It is that simple. Now get out there and play some disc golf. Check out dynamicdiscs.com/retail to find a buyback retail partner near you.
Hi, I'm Val Jenkins, and I hope you're sitting back and relaxing as you're watching Smashbox TV.
Welcome back to hole number 16. Again, your host Terry Miller, the disc golf guy. We've got Gary to the O on throw camera this weekend, along with Chad Inman on the catch, Robert McCall making the shots, along with myself and Johnny V back at the controls in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We're here for the 2017 Glassblown Open. This is the opening round, and also the first time we've had the pleasure of broadcasting here from at Olpe, just outside of Emporia, Kansas. We're glad you're here. Again, this is the second stop on the PDGA National Tour for this 2017 season. And we've got a good one in store for you tomorrow. We'll be moving over to Jones East Park,
We'll see if we can bring some action of our leader card to you there. And then we'll be wrapping up the tournament on Saturday at the Emporia Country Club course, designed by none other than 2010 world champion Eric McCabe. We feel a gentle wind, which has been no more than 5 or 10 at any point throughout this day, and anywhere from 5 to 25 miles per hour less than what most would expect anytime you come out here. Earlier, before the round took place, I was catching up with Nate Sexton, and Nate had indicated, he said, let's just go ahead and admit it, this place was designed on a calm day, and this course proving to be a lot of fun and still very challenging on a calm day and treacherous on a very windy day. We've been blessed with low winds, light rain. I'm seeing that head toward the OB. It looks like it's in fact stopped short as he plays the hyzer off the tee. I expect to see 4 relatively similar shots here off of the tee, playing out to the wide right hyzer and carrying into the center of the fairway is the optimum choice here. And Ricky's asking for a spike. He does not want that to carry. It still finds a way to get up on edge. However, it skips and rolls forward. If you're following along on pdgalive.com, we're seeing that Paul McBeth is currently your leader at 8 under par. Simon Lizotte trying to bite off as much as he can here on the tee shot. And it looks like it's carried toward the water. I have a better vantage point than the competitors here, but I still couldn't tell if it carried all the way into the water. I believe it did. Here on the card, we're also seeing Nate Sexton. He's at 7 under par and currently in a tie for second along with Zach Newhouse. Great to see Zach Newhouse playing incredibly well. Zach's in the clubhouse at 7 under along with Johnny McRae, who's also in the clubhouse at 7 under. And McMahon opts for a very low laser shot, skipping, heading toward the OB, checks up, and he's safe. Let's see how the women performed earlier on hole 16.
Don't hit that. What? You're good.
Ricky Wysocki has just thrown an approach shot that carried left of the pin toward the OB water. However, it seems as if it has stopped, and he will be in position for a birdie 3. Nate Sexton lining up a forehand. And Nate asking for it to go. Just a little bit more effort there from Nate, and the rain is picking up. We're feeling it the heaviest that has been all round. Simon asking where he went out of bounds.
If you're watching at home, this is an underratedly difficult fairway to stick on, especially when it's a little slick like this. If you come in on any hyzer angle, it's really easy to scoot out of bounds. As we saw at Eagles, I mean, it was flat almost the entire flight. Perfect upshot by Eagle McMahon.
Look as if he entered from the right side of the sandbox there and carried out back through the left. Long jump putt by Simon Lizotte hits the wooden timber and checks up. He'll have an easy drop in. That's going to be for the par 4 after the OB tee shot. We certainly invite everyone to join us down at the Bourbon Cowboy tonight for some of the activities. Nate Sexton's making it look easy out here, Robert.
Yeah, absolutely. He threw a great little upshot with his mortar, and then as the rain's starting to beat down, just a great putt. Simon, even with a little unfortunate roll, ends up with a par 4. Looks like we'll see the same from Eagle, and then Ricky Wysocki has 12 feet left for his birdie 3.
Again, the strongest rain that we've felt throughout the day is now coming down us here on hole 16. A little bit of conversation taking place on the gallery. Eagle McMahon will tap in. We're going to move over to a lengthy walk. We'll be back in a few moments after a word from our sponsors right here at the GBO.
For me, it's time with my friends.
For me, it's a walk in the park.
For me, it's my job.
For me, it's fun.
Hi, I'm Alex Geisinger, and you're watching Live Disc Golf on Smashbox TV.
This is Bobby from Dynamic Disc, and I'm here to tell you about a product called Dymax. Dymax is the proprietary process we use to put the most detailed images on a disc. We can Dymax your tournament discs, or even send us your trophy discs. Send us an image and we'll Dymax it.
Can I Dymax my car?
Yeah, we can Dymax your car.
Can I Dymax my cat?
Yeah, we can Dymax your cat. Well, isn't he cute?
Can I Dymax my lunch?
Well, that's kind of weird, but yeah, we can Dymax your lunch. Go online today to order from our pre-made Dymax discs or send in your image so we can create your custom Dymax. Learn more at dynamicdisc.com/Dymax. Dude, foot fault.
What?
Move your foot, dude. Foot fault.
Sorry.
Super. All right, Joe.
All right, Johnny. You ready? Bring it back. Kale with a crush here on, okay, maybe not a crush, but Kale with a very safe layup here out to hole number 17's fairway, measuring in at 375 feet. This is a par 3. Macbeth confirming where the OB is here on hole 17 before throwing his first shot. And Cam Todd, last year's champion here at the Glassblown Open, third to tee. And with a slight headwind, we see McCabe's turning over to the right. And not what he was anticipating here off the tee on hole 17. We're going to be back with you after a word from our sponsors as our players move into position here on 17.
What did you just do?
I'm stamping this misprint.
Yeah, but you triple stamped the double stamp.
Yeah?
You can't do that.
Can't too.
Cannot.
Can't too.
Cannot.
Can't too.
You can't triple stamp a double stamp. You can't triple stamp a double stamp. You can't, Eric!
Guys, enough!
You want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Welcome back, everyone, as we are here on hole number 17. A few moments ago, we watched our champions card tee off, and with just 2 holes left to play, it looks like we're going to be facing into a little bit of a headwind and plenty of OB.
Yeah, this is the most sustained wind that we've had all day. It's not really crazy, maybe 10 miles an hour, 15. And these last couple of holes, this hole reads 375 on the tee sign, and it's not 375. It's quite a bit longer than that, and so it's not really going to affect these guys' ability to reach this hole. It'll play as a 2-shot hole for everybody today. And then on hole 18, I think that's a fantastic finishing hole. Island, I guess it's more of a peninsula green, but rocks up on top, and you want to make sure that you settle on top of them because the drop zone is the short tee, and the short tee is not an easy shot. And so we have good potential for somebody to finish 3-2 here and solidify a good round, or to go 4-4 or 4-5 and cap off what might have been a good round before that they won't really feel real good about after dinner time.
Cale Leviska throwing his second shot. Just a moment ago, I was thinking about the champion card. Of course, that's in reference to the Glassblown Open champions. Those are your most recent champions that were not here on the featured card. And then I was also thinking about world championships, and sure enough, you add them up, there's 6 world championship titles amongst the 4 of them on that card.
Yeah, just Cale Leviska left out of that elite group. I believe Cale's finished second at Worlds before. Maybe second, at least top 4. I've seen him in lots of Final Nines.
Yeah, that's where he loves to be. Yes.
Yeah, he does very well. But then, we've got Paul McBeth with 4 World Championships, the most recent being 2015. And then Cam Todd was the 2001 World Champion, and Eric McCabe, 2010 World Champion. So lots of star power on that card. Looks as if they're putting together some pretty good scores. I saw McBeth was around 8 under recently, and on a day like today, I mean, anything in the low 50s is going to be really, really good. If it was super windy, anything in the low 60s would be really good, but alas, we've been blessed with pretty good weather today. Just a little bit of rain and wind here to finish up the round.
And the round has moved along very nicely, actually. I know we have just 2 holes to go. It seems like we've slowed down a little bit in catching up with the second and third cards. However, the pace has been great today, which we certainly enjoy. We hope the viewers enjoy that. We again want to thank Central Coast Disc Golf for going out, and they were filming the women's round already this morning, and we said, well, can we get a little piece of that? And sure enough, Steve Dodge chopped that up into pieces and then assembled it for us. Steve acting on behalf of the Disc Golf Pro Tour, and really that was a vision of Steve's for the coverage in the Disc Golf Pro Tour this year. And Johnny V and I were 100% skeptical and not confident at all that it would work. And really quite the opposite has happened. It's worked very well. We're continuing to improve upon it, and we feel like it's really taking coverage to the next level, and we love being able to show both the men and the women's rounds here today.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. I wasn't sure what that was going to look like, as there's just there's only a certain amount of time in coverage, and there is a lot of things that need to happen in the meantime, but I think that's turned out very, very well. I've really liked getting to see the women and how they attack the holes. Like I particularly like the coverage for Waco, because wide open on the front and then really tight on the back, and so yeah, it was great to see the women play that course very well.
Well, it was, again, it's been a tremendous effort by a number of parties, so we're thankful that we could pull it off for you this year. And we'd like to thank the women. In talking with them, they said if that's what it's going to take for more women's coverage to happen, we don't mind that we have to tee a little bit earlier. And they've been very gracious about it. And I do want to be very clear, Central Coast will still put together a full round edit, as you see with a lot of the other post-production rounds. You're still going to see it. So if you want to see every single shot the women threw, along with great graphics and scores and all the other things that Central Coast is known for, please definitely go out and see that. You'll see it by either tonight or tomorrow morning. And I believe we've got Nate Sexton on the tee and ready to go on hole 17. Robert, as you mentioned, we have Nate Sexton sitting at 8 under par through 16 holes, and
That looks like a textbook drive here on this 17th tee.
Yeah, there's not much you can do to get all the way to the basket, so just putting yourself in a good spot to throw around either side of the trees is really all you can do.
It looks like Wysocki's looking for that to flip up just a bit. He gets a great skip out of it. Again, great position for Wysocki.
And Simon's one of the longest power throwers in the world, and he is absolutely unleashed on this drive. Looks like he's actually beat the trees by the basket, and that's, I mean, the tee sign reads 375, but as I've said, it is inaccurate. This is at least 475 feet, so that was a great drive into a nice little headwind by Simon Lizotte.
And as if you haven't got enough talking from me here today, join us tonight as I'll be doing a live podcast, a Disc Golf Guy wrap-up show. You can find that on the Disc Golf Guys channel on YouTube. You better be there.
I might be there. Maybe we can just chat it up.
Good-looking shot by Eagle McMahon. Let's see how the women did on hole 17 earlier today.
I thought you went in front of me. You're good. Oh, hey.
And welcome back here to hole number 17. Looks like Nate Sexton will be throwing first after the Star Excalibur tee shot.
That's a little soft, and he's skipped. Oh, he's right behind the trees. He might have a little obstruction to make his look at a par 3. Golly.
Just say it, Robert. That was a horrible shot.
That was a missed shot. He would say that too. He absolutely missed that shot.
Yeah, I am sorry. There is not a lot of sugarcoating it. We do not expect that out of Nate Sexton. That was just really a complete gaffe on his part. We'll see if he can save it somehow for the birdie.
Rick's got a good angle coming into the green. A little bad skip off the railroad ties, but he's no farther than 15 feet away.
And speaking of mechanical bulls, make sure you show up tonight to the Bourbon Cowboy.
Were we just talking about mechanical bulls? I can't remember.
You'd be surprised what's going on in this noggin of mine as we watch Eagle McMahon go just a bit deep here. I actually got a chuckle out of Wysocki there after that comment. But nice. Doug Bierkes, along with the rest of the Glassblown Open
Players, staff, crew, whomever, come on down to the Bourbon Cowboy in downtown Emporia. We've got not only a chance at riding mechanical bull for free, but also to listen to a live band. This is Simon Lizotte for Eagle.
By far the longest drive I've seen on this hole. And this actually plays as a par 3. It's written down as a par 3, so it's just basically the best birdie you've ever seen. That's a huge drive. And here's Nate Sexton with a super straddle putt. He's got a lot of trees to contend with.
And the horrible approach does not cost him a stroke. That is a great up and down by Nate Sexton. That is what professionals do. He had the air on the upshot and then still was able to capitalize by making a very challenging putt. Nice work there, Nate Sexton.
Eagle is in for his par 3. We were standing directly behind Nate, so I can tell you he could really only see half of the basket when he let that putt go. So a fantastic par save there.
And Ricky is in. Final hole coming. Stay tuned right here at the Glass Blown Open. And the final hole here on our round at Olpe Park, Olpe Lake, I should say, and Simon looks like he's hit next to the pin. We did not get a flag indicator. There was no red flag, so we're going to assume he is safe.
Yeah, everything on top of the rocks is safe. It's only the water that's out of bounds. This is 310 feet, but it's water carry almost the entire way.
Nate Sexton takes a deep breath, collects his thoughts before throwing a forehand out onto the green. Again, a very gentle headwind is coming at the players, but relatively negligible out here.
Yeah, that was a good play by Nate. He's got to look at it, too, to cap off a great round. Ricky Wysocki hangs a good angle on his hyzer. He's asking for it to go. It's hit the rocks and sat very well, so he'll be inside 20 feet for a birdie, too.
And Eagle McMahon, who's had some ups and downs here on this opening round, he's lining up a forehand.
I'm really surprised to see Eagle not take a hyzer here, but I mean, what do I know? He just parks it. So
what do you know?
Don't worry about me.
Let's see how the women finished out their round earlier this morning.
Sit, sit.
Welcome back as we are moving down the fairway here on 18. Take a number of bridges to get across onto the green, or should I say I don't know, what's the other term? It's a green made entirely of stone. So is there a clever term? I don't believe you don't have one by now.
Yeah, not that I know of, but I guess we're probably going to have to come up with one because that's what a lot of the greens are out here. I'll work on that. I'll get back to you.
That seems like a Nate Sexton tax.
Yeah,
he is the best commentator. We need a name for a green that's really all stone or rock.
Oh man, a rock garden.
Rock garden, okay.
I can take that.
Now, does that go hand in hand with Savage Garden?
It is a savage place, dude.
Okay. Okay.
Nice. That was an obscure reach back you just took there.
do you really expect anything different out of me? So we're here on the rock garden of hole number 18, and as you said, Nate Sexton has had a very solid round here today. He's got a good look at a birdie, even if he were to come up and not take down the birdie here for the finish. He still has a very solid round in place. Yeah. Looking forward to seeing the scores as they unfold.
Yeah, he's looking at low 50s right now. So this would be a nice little putt to make this round just really cap it off very well. Let's see who's going to go first here. Yeah, it is going to be Nate Sexton from basically the circle's edge.
And Nate does not draw medal. Nate currently sitting at 8 under par. And no matter what, we will be seeing him on tomorrow's lead card at Jonesy's. This is Wysocki for birdie. Wysocki is in. That will push him to 5 under par. Looks to be about 16th or 20th place, somewhere in that neighborhood. At 5 under. We also see Nate Doss at 5 under par, along with Eric McCabe.
Great putt there by Simon Lizotte to finish up his round. He had a little bit of a rocky middle portion of the course there, but it looks as if he's going to finish at 54, so 6 under par. I believe that'll be a 52 for Nate Sexton. Great round out here today.
Nate again finishing in second place overall. Paul McBeth with the 10 under. And Eagle McMahon will tap in after going with that forehand shot. And as the players move down and collect their scores, Robert, we can wrap things up here. We're on this beautiful rock garden, I guess, as we've called it. Sorry, we'll make sure we get into position. The gallery. Media Marty Gregoire had said earlier from the PDGA that this is one of the largest galleries that he's seen on an opening day. Talk about the Emporia disc golf scene, the glass blown open. Why is this so incredible?
Honestly, I love living here. My wife and I moved up here a couple of weeks ago, and I've been involved with Dynamic Discs for a little while now, but now being employed by them and just getting to see these courses every day and see what kind of effort is put into making this happen, it is no surprise to me that we have a great gallery out here. We have around 1,100 disc golfers, as well as the city of Emporia that just embraces disc golf pretty much wholeheartedly. I mean, on their signs, giving discounts to disc golfers, always asking them how their rounds went. So to see that today is not a huge shock to me. I cannot wait to see what the galleries look like tomorrow and, of course, Championship Saturday.
Well, and if you are at all hesitant about coming to Emporia for any reason, just know that they have made chocolate discs for you to consume. And I'm not just saying that because I love me some chocolate. I'm just saying that through the sponsorships, through the support, and just how the city and everyone embraces it here. If you want to get yourself a chocolate truth or just enjoy some of the wonderful flavorings that you can find in downtown Emporia, it's all here for you. Again, I invite you to join us tonight.
at the Bourbon Cowboy. There's going to be live music starting at 10. There's going to be bull riding, we've heard, and talked about extensively. Robert's going to be on a bull, of course.
Yeah, probably not, but maybe we'll see.
He'll be there. So he'll be on a bull. We got to thank again Central Coast for the help with the footage, Steve Dodge, the Disc Golf Pro Tour, everyone, of course, at Dynamic Disc, the PDGA, along with the amazing crew that we have out here. I'd like to thank Robert for joining me. We've got Gary to the O on camera, along with Chad, Johnny V back at the controls. If you're a Patreon supporter of ours, you can get a smash cut into your inbox yet tonight, so we appreciate it. For Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, again, and Robert, we'll see you tomorrow when you step inside the Smash Box.